everyone, it's Kathy, and welcome back here to my YouTube channel, Kathy's Random Acts of Stampin', and here in my craft room. You might hear that I'm still a little raspy. I am on the upswing of whatever this mess was I had. I'm thinking it may have been a touch of the flu, but I'm not sure. I felt too bad to go to the doctor, and that sounds awful, but I literally did not feel like getting myself out and driving myself to the doctor. If you've been sick like that before, you probably understand. But nevertheless, I am back and I am concentrating now with products that are going to be available come January the 4th out of this new mini catalog. Now, if you're a regular customer of mine, you should have already received your catalog. If you have not, please reach out to me on the email address that's shown right here and let me know whether you've gotten your catalog or not. If you have not, I will check with Stamping Up and find out why you haven't received it. And if it was an oversight on my part, then I will make sure that I mail you out one ASAP. So with all that being said, the suite that I want to work with today is called the Be My Valentine. It comes with this adorable little punch, and the stamp set is so stinking cute. You have your body of your little bumblebee, and you've got your stripes. And then look at these little faces. You've got him winking, smiling, or really a big grin with his eyes closed. You've got this one where he's looking kind of sideways. You've got his little antennas, a little trail. You've got hearts, a beehive, and some little flowers. And then these beautiful little sentiments. Be mine. You're as sweet as honey. I love you no matter what. Happy Valentine's Day. You'll always be the one for me. Love you. You make my heart buzz. You get some of the little wings, and the heart, this bigger heart transcends to wings as well. And you're going to see what I did with this. Now, I'm still kind of in a slump when it comes to creativity. So what I did is I pulled out the suite that I knew that I wanted to work with, which was this. And I pulled out the designer series paper that goes with it, and it's the Bee Mine. And it is a beautiful pack of paper. It's two-sided. You get two sheets of each design, and it has one pattern on one side and a different one on the other. You can see how cute it is with all these little patterns of the bees and the hearts, and look at those. Please excuse me if I cough, if I have to stop and get a sip of water. This is my first time doing any advanced talking since I've been sick. Look at those cute little flowers. It is just a beautiful pack of paper, and I love the colors. I think the colors are fantastic. Look at that stripe. Y'all know I love stripes and florals together. This is so pretty. I got ideas already swarming in my head, which is always a good thing. So this is the last sheet, and there's the back side of it, and it looks like the beehive. So I use that as my inspiration for what I'm going to do. So with looking at the paper, I went ahead and pulled 3 colors of cardstock. And I have a basic white thick, I have a real red, and I have a daffodil delight. So I'm going to lay those over to the side. I'm going to move everything out because the first thing I want to do is grab the trimmer, because we always have to start with putting our paper or our cardstock down before we can go any further. So I want my card base to be real red. This does not lend itself just to a Valentine's Day card. It could be a thinking of you card, or an appreciate you card. There's just so many different things you can do. I cut this in half on the 11-inch side at 5.5. That gives me 2 card bases. So I'm only going to use one of those. This one I'm going to set to the side. And then we're going to need a mat of white. And I want to use this white piece for my mat. And I need that mat to be 1/4 inch less than what my card was. So I need it to be 4 inches by 5.25. So let's put that in at 5.25. And do a little slice. And there is our second mat. Now my third mat, I actually have a scrap piece, and I'm going to use it. This piece needs to be 3 3/4. And yes, I do like to mat my cards. Y'all know I love a card that's well matted. So 3 3/4 by 5. And that's going to be our third mat on the front of our card. Now we're also going to need another mat out of the white that is 4 by 5 1/4, and this will be for our inside. And you could mat it any color you want. I like to do white on the inside. I think it just gives your card a nice layout. And if you wanted to layer it and put another layer behind it of maybe the yellow, you could do that. It's totally up to you. It's your card, and I always say make it yours. All right. So the next thing I want to do is I want to pull out some of these little scraps. I'm going to show you how to make a template for your punch. Anytime you get a punch like this, it's a builder punch, you have this this great little piece that you can put in. What I like to do is find a piece of cardstock that is pretty much even with the stamp, with the punch like that, and then go ahead and just punch that. What this is going to do is going to give you a template so that when you get ready to stamp your images, you can put this over top. So let me show you how this will work. If I wanted to stamp this, I can put this in over top of my cardstock and set that in just like that. And I know that I'm going to get the perfect stamp every time. Let me show you how that's going to work. Let's say for an example, I'm going to put this right over top of this like that. I'm going to use one of my little magnets to help hold this in place for me. And I'm going to take and line this up right here. Like that. And then I'm going to pick that stamp up with a stamp block. And I want my bumblebee to have those little black stripes on this. Let me turn this other light on. So that helps quite a bit with the coloring and everything. So I'm going to go ahead and ink this up, and I'm using the VersaFine Onyx Black. Now, Stampin' Up! Does not carry this ink, but I love it for a good crisp image. So I'm going to sit this down. You need a good steady hand when you do this, and steady hands is not something I've had lately. But I'm going to give that a good press. Not perfect, but not bad. So now, if you can see what I'm going to do, I can actually put this into my punch, just like that, and punch that out perfectly. But anyway, that is what we get, and you can see how stinking cute that is. So now we can go ahead and stamp our little faces. And like I said, we have the one with the eyes kind of shifted. We have the one with the eyes wide open. I love this one. It looks like he's smiling so super big that his eyes are squinched shut. And that's the one that I'm preferring to do today. Now, we can do all of them. We could make a whole card of our cute little bumblebee friends, however you want to do that. I'm going to put his face right about here. Isn't that precious? Just putting a face on him just automatically makes his little personality pop. The other thing that we have is this little heart that punches out, and this is wonderful for his antenna. So I'm going to grab the antenna, and it is stinking adorable, and it fits perfectly on that heart. So I'm going to pick that up on a stamp block, and I am going to ink it. And then we're going to stamp it right on that heart. I hope I didn't smear it. That looks good. Close that ink. I love this VersaFine ink. Now, like I said, this is not a Stampin' Up! Product. They do sell the Versa mark, but they use StazOn for their permanent black ink. This is a pigmented ink, and I love this for sentiments, anything where I need a good solid background like this, because you can stamp once and get the job done. It does not work with alcohol blend markers though. So any of your alcohol markers, you do not want to use this. Water-based markers, yes. This is the ink you want to use if you're doing watercoloring or if you're doing coloring with your colored pencils and you're using the little marker that helps you spread the color. That would be a perfect time for using this, but just don't use that if you're going to use alcohol markers with it. Rule of thumb. All right, so now I can bring his little antennas right about there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn him over, and I know that I want that to go right there. So I'm just going to take a teeny bit of liquid glue, and then I am going to adhere his antenna like so. And if you notice, we also have bees that can act as his wings. Now, I thought, yeah, he looks cute with his little yellow wings, or you could do him black if you wanted to. I wanted to do mine out of vellum because y'all know I'm a stickler for detail. And I think the more detail you can put into an item, the prettier it turns out. So I've got a little piece of vellum, and I am going to put that in right there, and I'm going to punch that out. And now we have vellum wings. Let's see if we can get another set. I was interested in what it would look like if I did 2 sets of wings. Let's try it and see. You know the old cliche, you don't know until you try it. So if we wanted to, we could hook those little wings together. Let's bring it over here on a piece of yellow paper so we can see it a little bit better. Actually, I think I'm going to like just the one wing. Yeah, I think I'm going to do just the one wing. And the only place I want it to be, if I can get my fingers under it, is right about there. So again, I'm going to turn him over and I'm going to take a little bit of liquid glue and just put it right on the back where I want those wings. And then I'm going to set this down into the glue. And there is our little winged butterfly. Bumblebee. Isn't that precious? So I'm going to lay that over there for a moment. And let's go ahead and get our scoreboard out because I do want to go ahead and score my card. I'm going to move my stamps over here and I'll clean those after the video. So for my card base, I'm putting it in the upper left-hand corner of my Simply Scored scoring tool, and I want to score it at 4 1/4. Now, if you notice, a lot of people will come in and they'll go straight down like this with their stylus up in the air. I found out that I'm more apt to jump the track. And if you've done any card making and used the scoreboard, you know what I'm talking about. If you keep it low to the paper, you won't jump the track as easy. This is something that no one taught me. I learned it on my own. So flip it over and then fold it and give yourself a nice fold. And now we can put this up because I don't think we're going to need any more of that. I am going to grab out my Teflon bone folder. And give this a good burnish. And there is our card base. And we have 2 options. We can do a portrait card like this, with it opening this way, or we can do a landscape with it opening this way. I think I might do it this way, and I'll tell you why in a minute, but not yet. What I want to do is I want to bring in my white mat, and that's going to go down, but I'm not going to glue anything down yet. I want to use a new embossing folder that we've gotten. It's called Layered Florals. Is that not the most beautiful thing you've ever seen? I think it's so elegant. And I thought, yeah, this is kind of a whimsical card. Would this look good on it? I think it will. I think this folder, you can dress it up or dress it down. So I went ahead and put this in. If you notice, I got my cardstock lined up here at my line. That's a little registration line that helps you keep things nice and straight. And I'm going to grab my big boy, my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And I'm going to grab out 2 of my plates. Only thing I need for this, because this is a 3D embossing folder, is I need my number 1 plate and I need my number 4 plate. So, and in between those 2 plates is my embossing folder with my cardstock inside. So I'm going to lay that on, and then I'm just going to crank that through. It goes through like butter, so easy. And when you are done, look at this. Look at that beauty. Isn't that gorgeous? Okay. All right, so we got that done. And we can put this away. We do have some die cutting to do, but I haven't got my pieces ready for it. So we're not going to put this too far away because we're going to need it again. I'm going to grab a piece of paper out of the designer series paper. And I want these little honey jars. And I had played with this a little bit the other day. I might have enough out of that strip. Let's see if we got enough in out of that strip. I'm going to pull my essential nested dies out. Oh, here they are. Nested Essentials. These dies are so stinking cute. And if you don't have these, this is called a standalone die set. It doesn't go with any particular suite. And I love the standalone dies because you can do so much with them, especially when they're nested because you get so many different sizes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little banner and I want the largest and the next the largest. And this one here, I want to cut a piece of this out. Something like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm going to use my shears for this because I like using the shears when I need to wax something that's, just trimming it off like that. And I'm going to use my electronic cutting machine because it's right here beside me and I don't have to bring the big one back up. But for my embossing, I always use my other one because I love it so much. Now I am going to put this on because I want to make sure it's nice and straight. So I'm going to put this where I want it. And then I'm going to use one of my little Post-it flags just to hold that in place because I don't want it to move on me. So then I'm going to lay this over top and I'm going to run this through. That. And then very gently peel these away. These are great because they don't tear your paper or your cardstock. And that's why I love them so much. All right, we'll put this one back in. And now the other one, I want to cut it out in real red. So I am going to grab a scrap. I got that other half of a card base, but why do that when we can use a scrap, right? Exactly. So there's a perfect little scrap. Let's see if this will fit on it. And it fits beautifully. So I am going to put that on like that and cover it. And I'm going to run this through. So now we have this piece cut. And we have a beautiful backdrop for that designer series paper to play on with that. And I think it's going to be so pretty like this. So what we're going to do at this point is we are going to pop up the designer series paper on that solid cardstock to give a little bit of depth and dimension. So let's bring this back in. I have some Stampin' Dimensional, so I'm going to turn this over. Look at the back side. That would be cute on the yellow. Look how cute that would be. I mean, this paper is just stunning. And if you think little, now I don't care for bumblebees. I know they have a place in our society, but bees like to sting me. I don't know if they think I'm a flower. I'm not sure what it is. My husband did not believe me until he saw it in action. I told him, I said, I cannot get near bees. They swarm to me like I'm their honeypot. And I cannot be around or outside where there's a bee because they will find me. But anyway, I think these little cartoon bees like this are just so stinking cute that I can't help myself. I do love them, as long as they're not the stinging kind. But I'm going to pull these off. I wanted this to be kind of a quick video today because I don't want to strain my voice too very much. Um, Save it for another day. So I'm going to lay that on, kind of making sure I'm getting it nice and straight, and that's not straight. That's not straight at all. Come on, come on, come on. Oh, come on, come on. Pull the whole thing up. All right, let's try that again. All right, that's better. So now that I've got that where I want it, the next thing is our cute little bee. And look how cute he would be just buzzing along right there. So again, I'm going to pop him up on some dimensionals. And I'm going to make sure I put one right over top where that vellum's at. And maybe one right here. And maybe one down here. And let's go ahead and pull those backers off. And he's going to be flying kind of at an angle. Isn't that precious? All right, so let's pull our card back over. And like I said, you could do this landscape or I think I'm going to do this one landscape. And I'll show you why, because I'd already done one like this. Isn't that cute? And I haven't put the inside in yet, but I do have it cut to go in. And this was how I got my inspiration. I did the very thing that I showed you at the beginning. I just kind of put everything out and said, okay, what can I do to make this a card? And this is what I came up with. And I really am pleased with the way it turned out. I hope y'all are excited as I am over the launch of this new mini catalog and the celebration items that are coming up. If you haven't gotten your catalog yet, please let me know. I do want to make sure that the catalog is in your hands if you want one. And if you are not a customer of mine and you want a catalog, let me know that too, and I'll mail one out to you. And you can always shop with me online and use the online catalog as well. So that's always an option too. Just like that. And now we can set this down here. And if we wanted to, we could always turn it and do it this way. But I really want to try something a little bit different. And I think for that, I'm going to do something like this. And this is going to be our side piece. Let's go ahead and put glue on the back of this. Sit down right about here. I've got glue on my hands, but that's okay. Give it a little back rub right there. Close that down. And I've got this red ribbon, and this comes in a set of 2, and it's in the annual catalog. I want to say this is the age and this catalog I can show you. I just can't show you the new one. It is. It is the real red and the burlap ribbon, and the burlap looks like this. It's a beautiful pack of ribbon. There's your burlap. Yeah, see, there's 2 of 2 and 1 of 2. They come in a set like that. So I'm going to use that real red because I love the way it looks on this card. The real red matches everything beautifully. And I'm just going to need a small piece because I'm not going to do a bow. I'm just going to do a loop. So I'm just going to loop this almost like um, the little loop that we see for the breast cancer awareness in the pink. I'm going to do something similar to that in this red ribbon and put it maybe right about there. But before I put that down, I want to decide what I want to stamp. So I'm going to pull that stamp set over again. And I like the one where it says you make my heart buzz. I love that. So I'm going to stamp that sentiment. That one's Happy Valentine's Day. That's not what I want, not yet. We'll do Happy Valentine's cards eventually, but not today. You make my heart buzz. That is so cute. You know what could be cute if this would fit on here? Yeah. I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to stamp it right here. And I think I want to stamp it in real red. Now, I have 2 other colors of ink that I brought out, and that was my real red and my Daffodil Delight. But I'm going to use the real red for this. I'm not too sure I don't want to use the black ink. Let's try the black ink. So I'm just cleaning this stamp a little bit to get that excess off. And I'm going to grab my Stampin' Scrub. Love, love, love my Stampin' Scrub. This is the best stamp cleaner ever. Cleans with water or stamp cleaner. And these pads come out and you can clean them and use them again. So that makes this thing so worthwhile. It never wears out. You never have to replace it. So, unless you lost it, I'm going to bring that VersaFine Onyx Black back out again. And I'm going to stamp this. About like so. And I'm going to use my little, what did I do with it? I had another, oh, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. This little twirly line. Let's try that and see how that looks in it. I love that. That is so stinking cute. All right, let's cover this ink up before I put my hand in it and make a mess out of everything. And now I need to find out whether I want to punch this or if I want to cut it. And I am thinking, what about our new punch called the Heartfelt Hexagon? Let's see if that will fit. It might if I cut this down just a hair. So I'm going to take about yay much off of there. And then bring that in here about like so. Hold it, give it a look. Looksy, looksy. Looks good. And then I'm going to take my real red. Yes, I'm not done, y'all. I'm going to take that real red and I want some of these little hearts. How about these 3 little hearts right there? Let's move them onto a tiny stamp block. And let's stamp those hearts right there. And maybe right there. Maybe some right here. And I think that is good. So now I'm going to use a glue dot and I'm going to cross this over. I'll make sure this is going to work on here for me. I think something like that. I'm going to take a glue dot because these work so good with ribbon. And I'm just going to pull one off with my finger. And I want to decide where I want it to loop at. And I'm thinking right about there. And then I'm going to loop that over. And that gives me my piece that I want. Then I can set that there and this on top of it. Isn't that pretty? So now I can come back in with another glue dot. This time I am going to use my Take Your Pick tool. I'm just going to pull up that one glue dot and I want to position it right about here, like so. Then we need some dimensionals. And I think I am going to do that at this angle. I love that. So I'm going to grab my dimensionals. And I'm going to put one here, one right here, and one here. And I think that's going to be sufficient. To hold everything in place. Love it. And then for the inside, you could stamp whatever you want on the inside. It would be great if you were going to make this as a Valentine's card and type inside, I mean, write inside of it, Happy Valentine's Day. Or you could say You're sweet as honey and put that in there. Just so many different things that you could do on the inside of this card that would make it just absolutely adorable. So I'm going to leave both of these cards as is because y'all know I don't like to stamp on the inside until I know who my recipient is going to be. But there are two cards, same color, same pieces, just done in two different ways with two different sentiments. Everything else is identical. I love the way they turned out. I love my little bumblebee and his little vellum wings. I think they turned out absolutely stinking adorable. So y'all let me know what you think. And thanks so much for tuning in. God bless and keep you. And until next time, remember what I always say. Let everything that you do and say bring glory to our Father in heaven. He is so worthy. So until next time, take care. Bye-bye.